The ocean is a world unto itself, a vast and profound expanse that covers most of our planet. When we stand at its edge and look out, we are often struck by a feeling of smallness, a sense of our own fragility against its immense power. Within this great body of water lies a particular region that has captured the human imagination like few others. It is an ill-defined patch of the Atlantic, stretching between the sun-kissed shores of Florida, the idyllic island of Bermuda, the vibrant coast of Puerto Rico. We have given it a name that whispers of the unknown, the Bermuda Triangle. People call it a place of mystery, a vortex where the laws of our world seem to bend and break. The stories told are of things that simply vanish, swallowed by the sea or the sky without a trace. Listen closely. In the beginning, there's only a profound and unsettling quiet. Then, through the void, a sound begins to emerge. The crackle of a radio, a human voice struggling, may, rising static, and then silence. Among the many stories that swirl around the Bermuda Triangle, a few stand out as pillars of the legend, their details etched into the public consciousness. One of the most famous and unsettling cases is that of Flight 19. On the afternoon of December 5, 1945, engines whine narrator, VO. 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers lifted off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was a routine training mission over the Atlantic. The pilots were experienced. The planes were in excellent condition. The weather was clear. But as the afternoon wore on, something went terribly wrong. Static with faint male voice. Narrator, VO. The radio transmissions from flight leader Lieutenant Charles Taylor became confused and alarming. He reported his compasses were malfunctioning. He said he could not see land, despite his flight plan. He was lost. Radio operators on shore listened, helpless. Their final messages were faint, drowned in static, speaking of dwindling fuel and the approaching night. Then there was nothing. All 5 aircraft with 14 men aboard were never seen or heard from again. A Martin Mariner rescue plane sent to search also vanished that evening. Beyond the headline-grabbing disappearances of military craft, the lore of the Bermuda Triangle is enriched by a different kind of ghost story. These are the tales of vessels found adrift and eerily empty, floating aimlessly on the quiet sea. Sailors and Coast Guard patrols have come across ships on several occasions that appeared perfectly seaworthy, yet the crews were gone. One famous example, the schooner Carroll A. Deering, wrecked off North Carolina in 1921. The ship was deserted, lifeboats were missing. Investigators found food laid out in the galley as if the crew were about to eat. The ship's log and navigation gear were gone, but there were no signs of struggle or violence. These ghost ship stories tap into a uniquely unsettling fear. It implies the crew did not perish with the ship, but were taken by some unknown force or circumstance. The image of a ship sailing on its own, a silent monument to its missing crew, is powerful. It asks not just what happened to the ship, but what happened to the people. In our quest to find logical explanations for the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle, science offers several compelling, if not entirely conclusive, theories. The first and most famous of these ideas involves the Earth's magnetic field. Our planet acts like a giant magnet, North Pole, South Pole. For centuries, navigators have relied on this field, using compasses to guide their way across the featureless expanse of the ocean. The magnetic field is not perfectly uniform. There are places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align perfectly, agonic lines. One agonic line historically passed through the Bermuda Triangle. Magnetic anomaly has long been cited as a potential cause for navigational confusion. Before GPS, pilots and ship captains relied on compasses and calculations. If a navigator failed to account for magnetic declination, they could be led off course over time. A small error of a few degrees can mean hundreds of miles of drift, missing islands, and running low on fuel. This helps explain cases like the pilot of Flight 19. But modern experts point out magnetic variations are known and predictable. Skilled pilots and sailors are trained to compensate. The agonic line has shifted over time and no longer runs through the triangle as it once did. A sudden localized magnetic disturbance could theoretically affect instruments, but routine anomalies alone are unlikely to explain catastrophic losses. The classic tension: mundane science versus captivating fantasy. Measurable challenges, seductive myths, both shape the legend. Beyond magnetism, scientists have looked deep beneath the waves for answers, exploring the very geology of the seabed. One of the most intriguing theories involves massive deposits of methane gas trapped in icy crystals, known as methane hydrates, under the ocean floor. These deposits exist worldwide, including within the Bermuda Triangle. Under certain conditions, temperature or pressure shifts, these hydrates can become unstable and erupt, releasing an enormous plume that rushes toward the surface. A ship floats because the water beneath it is dense enough to support its weight. A methane bubble drastically lowers water density. The frothy water can no longer support the hull, causing a sudden, shocking descent. A vessel could vanish in seconds, with no time for a distress call. This might explain how a large ship like the USS Cyclops could disappear without warning. Another powerful force of nature that commands respect is the rogue wave. Once dismissed as tall tales, they are now confirmed by satellites and sensors. They form when smaller waves converge and amplify, sometimes over 100 feet high, a vertical wall that can overwhelm even the largest ships. In the triangle, powerful storms and strong currents often collide. Ideal conditions. A rogue wave can even swat a low-flying plane from the sky. Sudden, violent, little evidence. Nature, not monsters. While strange geological phenomena are compelling, we must not overlook a more obvious danger: the weather. The Atlantic here is notorious for sudden, extremely violent storms. This is the birthplace of hurricanes. Warm waters fuel Earth's most powerful systems. A ship or plane can set out under clear blue skies and within hours find itself battling ferocious winds, torrential rain, towering waves. These storms can appear with frightening speed, outmaneuvering forecasts. The wind becomes a deafening roar. The thunder feels like the sky breaking apart. The destructive power of a major Atlantic storm cannot be overstated. Hurricane-force winds can tear a ship apart, or send a plane spiraling out of control. Electrical activity can cripple communications and damage sensitive navigation equipment. Cut off, a captain or pilot might be forced to fly or sail blind into the tempest. Coupled with nature's ferocity is human error. People can make mistakes, especially under stress, fatigue, and confusion. A poor judgment call in a storm can be fatal. In earlier eras, technology was far less sophisticated, and radios unreliable. Small errors plus bad weather can escalate into catastrophe. It is not a supernatural explanation, but a profoundly human one. When clear, scientific answers are not readily available, the human imagination steps in to fill the void. The gaps have been populated with some of the most captivating and enduring myths of our time. When a ship sinks without a trace, science offers possibilities like rogue waves and methane gas. But it's far more thrilling to imagine something else. Some say alien craft abduct ships and planes, taking crews to another world, for study or some unknown purpose. Others resurrect sea monsters, modern-day krakens rising from abyssal depths, portals, time warps, myths as big as the ocean itself. A good story often beats a dry report. The media amplifies the legend. Dramatic headlines, sensational books, blockbuster movies, perfect fuel, flashing lights, strange pings, distant radio chatter. The world loves a mystery. View scientific explanations and supernatural myths not as competing truths, but as ways to process the unknown. Science points to weather, geology, physics, human psychology. Myths give metaphors for fear, wonder, and our vulnerability to overwhelming forces. Often the truth is a mix. Myths simplify it into a single, awe-inspiring event. Today, we are armed with technology the past could only dream of. Satellites monitor our planet, tracking storms with precision. Ships and planes carry GPS, real-time positions, independent of compasses. Sophisticated radar can see through weather. Radios and satellite phones keep us connected. Networks track flights and vessels. Many classic mysteries today would be solved within hours. We can trace final paths, analyze weather, and study last transmissions. Data guides search and rescue, raising chances of recovery. And yet the ocean remains vast and deep. Not every wreck is found. Not every black box is recovered. Even with our tools, the sea still makes things disappear. The Bermuda Triangle is a crossroads where history, science, and human imagination meet. It teaches respect for nature, physics, planning, training, and reliable instruments. Through exploration, modeling, and records, we peel back mystery with evidence. Is the Bermuda Triangle a supernatural danger zone or a legend shaped by nature, science, and human imagination? We will keep listening for that faint signal in the static, and we will always ask, what happened out there?